Hello again, everyone, and welcome to episode 2. In this episode, I met with Lee Sturgeon Day, and she told me all about her experiences with anthroposophy and biography work, as well as karma, the 7-year cycles of life, and U-theory. This episode is a bit different from the first, as the interview was arranged as more of a storytelling and less of a discussion. It is also a much shorter episode, but nevertheless, I hope you enjoy. So my first question is, how did you discover Waldorf education, and what made you choose it?
In my early 20s, I was working for John Betjeman, Britain's poet laureate, when a TV film producer came to make a film with him. Jonathan Steddall invited me to meet his sister, who lived in Forest Row, Sussex, one of the Steiner strongholds in the UK. Her children, Susie and Hugo, 11 and 9, came in asking when school started again. I asked, "You mean they want to go to school?" I had been expelled from 2 English boarding schools and loathed them both. They can't wait for the weekend to be over. Susie and Hugo took me to show me around Michael Hall, the first English Waldorf school. I resolved if I ever had children, they would go to one. A happy child is a child who learns. It was over a decade later that my son was born. He is a Waldorf lifer, as they designate themselves. 7 years later, I went to stay with my parents for a little rest and relaxation after doing lighting and special effects for rock concerts and being a flamethrower in a circus. I took a book from my mother's bookcase that I hadn't seen before. It was Theosophy by Rudolf Steiner, which Jonathan had left there. I read 30 pages and went to call him. I want to go to Emerson College, the big adult training center in Forest Row. I interviewed the following week, telling the principal, Francis Edmonds, "I don't understand a word, but I know it is true." I echo to it like a depth sounding. I went there a year later, and after my foundation year was co-founder of the Center for Social Development, inspired by a course which included biography, 7-year life cycles, karma, and reincarnation. I realized this is what I had come on earth to do. It was at the center that 3 of us developed and offered the first biography workshop through the 7-year life cycles in the English-speaking world. From that first workshop, all my biography work has grown. It is a way of nurturing adults, teachers, parents, people, so they have the strength and understanding to take care of children and to meet and support each other in this increasingly fractured world. Anthroposophy is the mother, the foundational parent of all the daughter movements that have sprung from it. And what drew me to anthroposophy over all other spiritual paths is its deep practicality. All these amazing initiatives have been spawned from it. Waldorf education, biodynamic farming and gardening, anthroposophic medicine, and therapies, to name a few. Real transformative work is offered to the world. In all spiritual movements, you contemplate your own navel. At least that has been my experience. Anthroposophy calls you to serve others, to do real deeds on the earth.
So tell me about your understanding of karma and how it is different from what most people think.
I haven't a clue what other people think about karma. What I understand, and sometimes I'm called to teach, is that it is a law of consequences. Whether you are Nero or Nefertiti is way less important than how you approach the future. Karma simply means work, the work you are called to do as a consequence of what you did or left undone. So instant karma is when you raise your head in a hurry and have forgotten to close the kitchen cabinet. A little painful wake-up call. Delayed karma usually takes place in our relationships. We neglect something or someone, and there are painful consequences down the road. Classic karma rolls over from one lifetime to the next. And destiny is the thread we try to follow to realize at least some part of what we promised we would try to accomplish in this lifetime. So we have this tension in any given moment between what we cannot change and how we might respond to the situations in which we find ourselves. As Steiner put it so beautifully, in any given moment, the moment that is given to you or to me, we are unfree, locked in our body, our life, and what or who confronts us. What we do in that moment, how we choose to respond, to show interest or indifference, to do something to heal or harm, is our freedom. And the sum total of our responses will be creating the future of this earth.
What are these 7-year cycles of life, and how do they mirror each other through U theory?
Approximately every 7 years, we are offered new resources, new challenges, new opportunities, and new tasks. At first in the physical realm, later in the soul and spirit. For parents and teachers, it can be very supportive to know the consequences for the children of what and how the Waldorf curriculum and approach to the growing child can foster their adult capacities.
Do you have any advice for me and any... I know you do. What is your advice for me and my friends and any other young adults as we graduate high school and go out into the world?
First, I think you're very brave souls to have come to the earth at this time in human history. Today's world is a very depressing and scary place at times. Climate change, devastating divisions and wars. Always try to have courage and always try to have hope. There is a wonderful group, avaz.org, founded by 5 young people in 5 different countries that have had quite an impact on world situations through protests and petitions. We now number many millions. They say hope is a verb. It involves doing something, taking action. As Steiner puts it, the ego, the I am, is working will. So find others and take initiatives and never give up hope. Ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. I am so glad to know you. You can bloody well put that in you.
Okay.